Welcome back to the old casting couch. A man who first bounded to our attention as Superman, but went on to prove his real acting credentials on stage with the likes of Katharine Hepburn and Vanessa Redgrave, and in such movies as Switching Channels. Welcome, Christopher Reeve. You know all that stuff. It's good to see you. You're here for Christmas?
No, I'm actually just here for the weekend for my son's birthday. I have to take time out to do this. I've never done this on TV before, but it's Matthew's 10th birthday on Wednesday. He's sitting right there watching. Al's next to him. And I have to say happy birthday, and you know how proud I am of you. Happy birthday.
Good.
Thank you, folks.
Well, television has to be good for something, and that's one of the few things it's good for, being able to say hello to your own children.
I love it. You know, and sometimes you're sitting at home, you go, oh, stop already. Don't do that. But
no,
I am so
never
proud,
mind.
you know.
No, never mind. Do you spend much time in Britain?
I come over as often as I can. Every time I get a break between some project or whatever, I come over always for birthdays, and every vacation I get a chance, and the kids come out to the States as well.
It's quite a while since we talked together. I think you've made a couple of movies since then. I think Great Escape 2, you just finished. You've been on Broadway in Shakespeare earlier on the year. And you made something called The Rose and the Jackal.
Right.
Was that made here? What?
No, that was actually made in Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia, which is a wonderful place. I'd never worked in the American South. And I've worked here a lot. I've worked in Italy and Hungary, Yugoslavia, those places. But the American South is just wonderful because they're not jaded about movies yet. They think it's a big deal. And this is a Civil War picture. And they have over there, guys, you know, they work in a garage during the week or whatever, or teach school, and on the weekends they reenact battles for the Civil War. And they have all the gear, and they're fully trained, and there's thousands of them, and this year is the 125th anniversary of the Civil War. And I think for the reenactment of Gettysburg, they had 25,000 of them, you know, lined up and really doing it. And I said, how do you know when you're dead? He says, well, when you get tired, you just lie down and drink a little Gatorade, and you're out for the day, you know. But they take it very seriously. I remember we were doing one shot, and there were hundreds of these federal troops in prison, and I had to walk among them looking for someone. And just before we were about to do the take, there's this one soldier had a little red cross on his hat, and a friend said, no, you can't have that. That was 1863, and this is 1861. And you couldn't tell him that we're not seeing you, sir. We're not seeing your hat or anything. No. Had to have it right. So that enthusiasm, that authenticity, really makes the picture look good.
And this is what sort of a part do you play?
Well, it's been a long time since I've been in a love story, and I did one 10 years ago that people like quite a lot called Somewhere in Time, and it's been a while since I've done sort of that genre of picture. This is a little darker. It's about an obsessive passion that this man, Alan Pinkerton, who was the head of the Secret Service under Lincoln, develops for a woman that he's trailing, and she's a spy for the Confederates, and he has to bring her to justice. At the same time, he's falling hook, line, and sinker for her. So it's obsessive passion.
Yes, I saw you.
You know all about that.
Of course I do. You can't work 3 days a week on a talk show and not have obsessive passion. But I was just thinking, the movie I saw you in last that really impressed me was your part in Switching Channels. And you play in that, well, there's a little bit of passion in that. You've Kathleen Turner, you and Kathleen.
Well, it's funny. You can almost say that one's OTT, over the top, because we're very far out there. I play a genuine jerk. I mean, a dyed-in-the-wool jerk, and I'm not sure whether that was a great career move or not. I mean,
well, I was just going to ask you, did you do that deliberately to play a kind of, everybody would look and say, God, what a wimp, but to, as it were, act as an antidote to the Superman? Well,
there's a funny thing. It's about perspective, you see, because I see myself probably in a completely different way than anybody else. I mean, having been an actor for 22 years, and you don't want to come out and, you know, blow your horn, but you really do. And I think if you talk to Michael Keaton, who played Batman, or talk to Tim Dalton, who played 007, see, it's the era now of actual actors who have a sort of a real career going, who just happen to do these comic book figures. And that's a very different thing, stylistically, than it would have been in the 40s or the 50s when they found these heroes out of the Olympic swimming pool. So the thing is, all of us in that genre are actually just normal actors who do this and expect to go on with our life. So I never just divided my life into before Superman, after Superman, change the image, don't change the image. It's just what's the best job I'm lucky enough to get. And that's the way
Maybe you did one Superman too many.
Too many, to be very honest. I think so. It's hard to know when to stop, you know? It's like eating cookies.
Well, the money keeps coming in.
But you know, it's really a bad disease that Hollywood has, the sequelitis. And unless you do what Spielberg does with his series, The Raiders of the Lost Ark, you get Sean Connery, you go back and direct it yourself, you spend the money, you go to the locations, because the audience doesn't want to be ripped off. And I was sorry to see them ripped off in the last one.
Of course, but I mean...
Not my fault, folks. I didn't mean it.
Everybody makes mistakes. Yeah. And I agree that this proliferation of sequels, mind you, they make money, and that's why they're made. Obviously, that's why movies are made in the first place, not for artistic reasons.
Every now and then, well, you can do both, you know, and every now and again there is a sequel that is better. I've just heard of the script for The Godfather 3, which is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And Godfather 2, I think you can argue, was better than Godfather 1.
Yes.
You know, some people like Back to the Future 2 a lot. You know, it just depends on whether they take the time, spend the money, put all the effort into it.
Yeah. You probably need a PhD to decipher Back to the Future 2, though. You need to go through it at least 4 times to understand it. I was going to ask you about the Shakespearean acting. You seem to be part of a trend, because Kevin Kline is doing Hamlet.
He's already done it once, and he's about to do it again. Yeah.
And, of course, we've had Dustin Hoffman over here get something of a pasting from the critics.
Really?
Yeah.
He opens in New York on Tuesday night. I'm planning to go to the first night. And there's a lot of respect for Dustin.
Yeah, do you think Americans can play Shakespeare?
Oh, sure.
Do you think they should be allowed to play Shakespeare?
Yeah, I think there ought to be maybe a little moratorium on him in some places. There have been some bad productions sort of in a row in some places. But the general question of can Americans do Shakespeare, of course they can. Otherwise we shouldn't be allowed to do Strindberg or Chekhov or Moliere or whatever, because all of it is in a foreign language. You just have to take the convention that, you know, is a person right for the character? Is he playing truly emotionally? And just adjust your ear a little bit. Now, if a guy's got a real dialect problem, you know, some guy comes out and goes to be or not to be, that's the question. You're going to have a problem with that. But somebody with standard American mid-Atlantic theater speech, I think you can get used to that.
So I can't remember. Marlon Brando was a wonderful Mark Antony, but I can't remember whether he played it with a broad American accent. He played it with a slight American accent.
Yes, but Marlon Brando can kind of get away with anything he wants. He always has done.
Yeah.
But I do think, though, that there is a very nice thing that's happening now between English and American theater, and it's led by people like the Peter Hall Company, Duncan Weldon, Ian McKellen, the kind of people who are Vanessa Redgrave, who are making a real effort to say, look, the world is a global village. We're the same culture. We're connected in so many other ways. Let us Americans open our stage to all of you, and you open your stage to us, and let's keep it going back and forth.
Yeah, I think that's a terrific stand to take, because there has been problems with equity on both sides of the Atlantic, hasn't there?
Yeah.
But we're always glad to have you back here. Are we going to stay for a
That's
little
why
while?
I came, sir.
Only came for the booze. Came for the booze, but Christopher Reeve, we're delighted to have with us.
Thank you.